All right, Adam, thanks. Continuing coverage this morning, new developments emerged in the ongoing investigation into widespread misconduct at the West Virginia State Police Academy. The new superintendent of the West Virginia State Police, Jack Chambers, revealed that the hidden camera that may have filmed both adult and underage women is now being investigated federally. We spoke to West Virginia Senator Shelley Moore Capito about the federal response. She thinks that to this point, Governor Jim Justice has been aggressive and needs to continue to be.
I think when you see something like this, it tends to grow, and we see that in this situation. And so I think the governor has to be aggressive and punitive and, clean house when he needs to.
Senator Moore Capito also says that it is critical that trust in the West Virginia State Police is restored since it is an important institution across the Mountain State. She also says she knows many men and women who have served in the West Virginia State Police over the years and that this situation has been difficult for them to watch unfold. If you experienced a big backup on Interstate 470 yesterday, you may have wondered what was happening. Now, a semi caught on fire near the West Virginia-Ohio border. I-470 eastbound was shut down in both lanes for a couple of hours. Traffic, though, is now flowing again. And police arrested a man on Columbus Avenue in Martins Ferry after finding drugs and guns during a search warrant. Police say they were investigating Jermaine Thompson and found crack cocaine, 5 suspected press pills, 2 guns, and $428 in cash during the search. Police also say Thompson was on bond from prior drug charges from a traffic stop earlier this month. Thompson was charged with 2 counts of trafficking in drugs, 2 counts of drug possession, and 2 counts of weapons under disability. He is now in the Belmont County Jail, and you can head over to our website for more details on this story. Despite the ongoing strike by Hollywood actors and writers, this year's Comic-Con in San Diego will proceed with a smaller than usual lineup of stars. The annual convention is expected to draw tens of thousands of fans of cosplay comic books and their screen adaptations. But ongoing strikes by the members of the Writers Guild of America and the Actors Union SAG-AFTRA have forced the cancellation of more than 24 panels where actors and writers typically promote upcoming projects.
Hollywood has had a lot of bombs the last couple of weeks, and you'd think they really would want to take advantage of this, but they all pulled out. At first, we only had like 4 studios not going, which I didn't think was that big of a deal because I've been covering Comic-Con for 8 years, and there's always a few. But as of last week, as soon as the actors announced they were going to go on strike, just about everybody pulled out.
Now, organizers say fans still have a lot to look forward to, including the expansive exhibit hall and the camaraderie. San Diego Comic-Con runs through Sunday. And the U.S. Supreme Court could soon weigh in on the dispute over the Mountain Valley Pipeline, which has been halted yet again. It was halted again last week when the 4th District Court of Appeals ruled in favor of several environmental groups. Those groups argued that Congress overstepped its authority by putting a bill to finish the pipeline inside of an unrelated bill to raise the nation's debt ceiling. Now, all 4 members of the West Virginia congressional delegation and some others in Congress have submitted so-called friend of the court briefs to U.S. Chief Justice John Roberts. He oversees the 4th Circuit Court of Appeals, and by himself, he could reverse that court's order to halt pipeline construction.
One of the aspects of that was judicial review and timelines on that. In other words, you can't keep suing and suing and suing and suing, which we've seen obviously from MVP. They've been over in the circuit court 9 times now. I mean, this can go on 6 and 7 and 8 years. Let's do 90 days. Let's do 120 days, something in that range.
As mentioned, Justice Roberts could overturn the lower court ruling, or he and the other Supreme Court justices could agree to hear the full case next term, which begins in October. Owners of the Mountain Valley Pipeline were hoping to complete construction before winter. Yesterday was the second day of the National Scout Jamboree, and participants finally got their first full day of high adventure. More than 12,000 scouts and 3,000 volunteers convened in southern West Virginia. Festivities were in full swing, and it kicked off in the morning with a speech from Medal of Honor recipient Sammy Davis. There's plenty of activities for scouts from not only around the country, but around the world. There's barrel shooting, zip lining, BMX activities, rock climbing, and much more. How nice. Well, if you live in Brooke, Hancock, or Jefferson counties, your local government wants to know how you prefer to travel. The Metropolitan Planning Commission is working on 2 separate transportation plans to find out how you commute. With that information, they can find out how best to apply for federal money and keep the community on the go. The plans are a requirement from the federal government and is particularly important for senior citizens and those with disabilities.
Are they riding the bus in Weirton? Are they riding the bus in Steubenville? Are they using a senior form of transportation that has been designed specifically for them? We want to know what they're doing. And we also are very concerned about the gaps in our transportation system. There are a lot of folks here that do not have cars. How are they getting around?
The commission hopes to develop what they call a transportation snapshot from surveys. A link to the survey is on the Brooke Hancock Jefferson Metropolitan Planning Commission's Facebook page. They also have distributed hard copies. Dozens of generous golfing enthusiasts turned out for the annual Cal Caruth Vendor Invitational Dinner on Thursday evening. Several vendors were on hand at the Glesner Auditorium to help support this weekend's Amateur Golf Championship at Oglebay. Betsy Bethel McFarland with Easter Seals tells us that the proceeds raised of these events represents a huge chunk of the funding they are able to use to provide care for their patients who need financial assistance.
We have 45 vendors from the United States, almost every state, that support the roofing industry and that support us. So they've given and given every year. So since 2015, we've raised over $260,000 for Easter Seals.
Last night, they presented Easter Seals with a check for $40,000, pushing them above the $300,000 mark. For more details on Easter Seals, you can visit WTRF.com. In more news now, 20 talented young women from each of the Ohio Valley Athletic Conference schools competed in Wheeling's Capitol Theater on Thursday evening to show off their talents. Each are vying to become this year's OVAC Queen of Queens. The contestants were judged in several areas, including an interview, talent, poise, and presentation. The winner will be crowned at the 77th Rudy Mumley OVAC All-Star Game on Saturday at Wheeling Island Stadium. The game will be played at 7:15 in the evening, and we will be streaming it live on WTRF.com. Still to come for you this morning, a recent